Ready?
We're good.
So welcome to number 12 podcast. We're on our roll to
Aaron Rodgers podcast. 12.
Oh, I was going to say the Joe Rogan 2400 in a row. I thought we would get together here and recap our week last week. We spent the week, most of the days, 4 days, quite frankly, at Road America Northwood Shelby Club event. Mm-hmm. And, for those of you who are 100 listeners or watchers of our podcast know we love to track our cars.
Yep.
And it was a big week for us. Probably one of the largest weeks of the year, right?
Yeah, and it was cool because, I think a lot of our initial followers were with the Mustangs and stuff like that, which we still do. But there was a lot of fans that came over. That
it's a big week for us.
It was cool to have people recognize us and the people that are fans of ours coming over. It's pretty cool.
Fans, customers, future customers. I think we had. Well, I know we got one car. It's in the shop right now, and we have 2 or 3 cars coming down for some track prep and repairs, if you will.
Exactly.
But we have a bunch of fans up there, which is cool to see. I mean, we're regional, but we had the whole dog and pony show up there. We take your trailer.
It saved me a lot of time having fans up there. Speaking of the trailer. We went up when I went into Road America. We had to stage.
Oh yes, that's true.
So from 5 o'clock, I was there, and they said, "Well, you guys, we can let you in at 7 o'clock." And I'm like, "Wait a minute! I have my family, as you know. I bring my family up for this event. We stay at a local hotel, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get away with dinner time for 2 hours waiting to get in." So shout out to Ron Ripple. He came over and was talking to me. He said he watches all of our stuff. I was like, "Hey, do you mind sending me a message if when they start moving?"
Right.
And I kid you not. So I rip my moped off, rip it off of the thing just to get. I drive to the hotel. I'm just about ready to have dinner, and he's like, "We're moving." I'm like, it was 5:30. I was like, "This is just
supposed to be 7 o'clock."
Supposed to be 7 o'clock. Anyways, I raced back there. But yeah, if it wasn't for him, I mean, I still was the only trailer in the middle of this whole thing.
Blocking
everybody in.
That's a big trailer that we have.
At least we don't have motorsport. People weren't mad at Middleton Motorsports because we didn't have you can do an overlay. It's like an incognito trailer. No one knows it's us.
Not at all. With none of the track stuff on the side.
But
I mean, you've built most. I mean, you could argue you built your Instagram and a bit of the YouTube, if not most of it, from Road America track days with the green car.
Yeah.
I mean, videos and track videos of it. The instructional video that you did of the new pavement. That was a real look that up on. I know. Look that up. Please click review, subscribe, all that stuff to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we had.
But that was good.
That was a good one.
So it's a home track for us.
And I think where we really started, more or less be put on the map or be seen is when we started doing the really crazy times.
Yeah.
It was
once we started.
Yeah,
let me get familiar with the track.
Yeah, and then the people you pass on the way to make those times. I mean, when you're going 180 down the stretch in the green car, people, and that's just, we get most people we love our Porsches and stuff, but everybody that comes over, it's like, what is this? Is Matt's car or Todd's car, because it's the
Glessinger's cars,
the Glessinger's cars, the 800 packages. They just are so distinct in their sound and how we figured those out and how we have them how loud.
Yes.
People love those things.
Yeah. No, it was cool this week to have six of our cars up there in our group, all parked out front. There's a lot of photos of them, all the different colors of the rainbow.
They call that a display of power.
It was a display of power.
The military puts their fighter jets out. We had all of our
They weren't in the V formation, but they were definitely laid out. No, that was awesome. Yeah. What is there? 2 900 package.
3 900 because if you count Matt's or tuner.
Yeah, 3 900 packages, 2 800 packages, and a stock new build that is in our shop now getting built. So that was fun to have. But it's probably our biggest week because we have all of the merch, the trailer, the support van with all of the tools, equipment. People come up to us looking for parts, which we most often have, but we always forget the one tool or the one part that we wish we would have brought that someone asked for, but we usually have most of it.
That's where our Middleton Ford sponsor comes in, and we're like, "Hey, we had
That's
an
right,
issue.
we did."
So Todd
tell that
has,
story. That's a good one.
So
what we'll do for our customers.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You build a 900R package.
Yeah.
There's not much we won't do for you. But Todd was up there, and he has the most fun when he goes. I don't think there's anybody that has more fun than Todd.
And he trusts us with his car,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Like he's the type of guy, just bring me my
Just bring
car
and have it
ready.
So he cooked through the brakes, and we felt a little like, I know they're on back order, the pads, so that's why we didn't have them. We thought we had an extra set at the store, but it turns out we didn't. But then we took them off of my old car. Yeah. Anyways,
Long story short,
we had a quick lane guy drive him up to the track. We put him on. And he was ready for his next session. So,
he almost didn't miss a session.
Right. We were very.
And the store is an hour and 45 minutes from the track.
Yeah.
So by the time we realized when he came off, because we service the cars that are ours, we take a look at them always when they come off the track, and we realized the brakes and really all the fronts were toast. By that time we looked, oh man, we forgot the GT350R pads, and they were down here at the store. You called, you got someone to drive them up, and we put them on there at the track, and I think he just missed it.
Yeah,
he may have caught the end of the session if he wanted to, but I don't think he was trying to rush, because he was there another couple of days anyway. But that was an awesome story. That was cool to have. But it's nice to be up there. It's packed.
Yes,
like Northwood Shelby does an incredible job for the number of cars that they have. I think over 270 cars. Something like that. I mean, a lot of cars up at the track. Everybody's pretty friendly and looks out for each other, and the sessions are really run well. And there's not a lot of conflict on the track. I mean, they do a really nice job.
Yeah, Thursday was like if you're really looking to do times. I mean, what we've come to find is like if you're trying to get below like a 224, you're gonna have issues. I mean, I don't care if it's open track or whatever. But I found a window to get my lap time that I got, but like it was trying to get out, but like you're constantly like when you're going to, once you're getting the below 225, I would say you're always catching people, whether it's the end of the pack, you eventually catch them. And that's why I think that we talked about the private, if you haven't seen our podcast on the private track days, like I think that's to get the times that we're really looking to get, I think you need to get more of that, but I was able to squeak. But even that though, I got one lap.
Or you have to run like Nordstern.
There's still people in the lap, so the Nordstern was a great event because you're going.
It was a really advanced group.
Fast, yes. This group, like Northwoods does a really good job, but like towards like Saturday, like there was a couple Miatas, and I understand
Minis.
Usually
Miatas.
they're good at I had a time where I was going 150 miles an hour into turn one, and literally like right in the mirror, and they didn't point me by, and then you have to slam on the brakes because you're anticipating a point by. In an advanced group that we've mostly been in, you should get a point by no matter what.
Right.
Especially when you're in a car that's like probably going
running up
30,
on someone.
40, when you're running up. So I had to slam on the brakes and then keep me behind for a few corners.
Right.
So it's like I never like to go out and
And ultimately, to your point, regardless, it's point to pass. So even if you're in, I think when Nordstern we talked about. What they did a nice job of aligning horsepower and car type as well. So you didn't have the disparity on the track, the difference between someone who's a very, very good expert advanced driver just not having the car. So when you're on a track HPDE event, which it should be, it's a point to pass regardless. So, and if you're in a position where, if you didn't have a point to pass, you can pass and try to work it wherever you can. But if you're not caught on a true straightaway and the guy sees you coming, you're going to lift really no matter where you are because you have to wait for the point.
Yes.
So, and then, you're not going to point if it's not a race, so you're not passing necessarily in a turn. You're not dive bombing. No. You are dive bombing people if they point you. But so you're always lifting.
Yes.
You're never getting a full non-lift lap, to your point.
Yeah, and I'll say my best lap, I was going down into 5. There's a Mustang, and he did an awesome job because he saw me coming. He had his hand out the whole time.
And he positioned
himself on the right side. I went left.
Yes.
What's nice is I usually go left on 5
right.
anyway, so it didn't really hurt me. But
and they position themselves and they wait so they don't impact you. Like he could have just gone and said, okay, you could pass, but I'm going to pinch you in a spot where you're not getting a time.
between 5 and 6 at Road America up that hill because it always kills your time. You can never get far right to go left again. It throws the whole lap. But it's nice, and it's the thing is it's the 2% of people that make it unfortunate for the rest of us that don't point.
That don't pinch you.
But I think there really should be some, across all the groups. It'd be nice if it was really classed out by how much time. Because if you run in a group of guys that are in the 220s. I don't care when you go out. You're not going to in the 20-minute session. You're never going to lap them.
Right.
But when we're out with guys doing 250s and Miatas, we're catching those guys after 3 laps.
Right. Or we had a couple guys in like Corvette C8 or C7. I think that was just look. Again, it
just
wasn't
because
even
they race a bunch
doesn't mean they're advanced drivers, right? And I think there's a courtesy of being able to drive in your mirror. Yeah. For an advanced driver that keeps things safe.
And I think like what I realize more than anything is the importance of like having the private, to get lap times you got to do. And I think this weekend summed it up. It's like we had a great time. I ended up I had the Cup 2Rs on it and I didn't want to waste those. Like I went out for 2 sessions on the Cup 2Rs. Unfortunately, it was actually also held up on Thursday with Cup cars. Because what I found is some of these race car guys, like I don't know if it's ego or what, but they just don't want to let by. There's guys in GT 2Rs Club Sports, and I was running them over, and they didn't want to let me by. I was doing 221s behind them, literally with just room to go, and I'm ready because I'd proven I was fat. Like I had theoreticals of 17s, and I just couldn't do it because, it's unfortunate sometimes when that happens, but that's why it's so important if you want to do lap times, to be able to get some private days to get those events. But
get that out of your blood.
I ended up taking the R's off, putting the Cup 2s on because I'm not going to waste that tire just going around. So I ended up just giving people rides, which I think those events are more fun to just give rides. Yeah. And it's not a knock against Northwood Shelby because I think it's a great event, but I just think the expectation that if you're in, that sub 225 to get, really clean laps I think you're a little kidding yourself on those events.
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I think the expectation in an HPD event, period, unless you're truly going out, to your point, in a private or a small group, is you need to kind of be lucky to get something, time it right. It needs to be a minimum. We probably know at Road America, and you were going down the path also. Like the first day, this is a 4-day event. The first day is an open track.
Yep, advanced only.
Advanced only, open track. So that means there's no sessions.
Correct.
So
people can come out.
For those watching, you can go out whenever you want. You can stay out all day if you want. If your car can handle it, you can come in. You can go out. You can go out for a lap. You can come back. So it's open. It's an open track. The other 3 days, there are groups that you're in, and you run 25 minutes, and you run 4 times a day. Yep. So, obviously there's a bit of a sense of urgency. There's only 4 times you're going out, and you're going out with a group of cars. So everybody's going to go out, so the track's a little bit more crowded. But that first day was an open track, and there were 70-plus cars, I think. 74. And you were able to find some space. Yeah. But still, 74 cars still kept you to where you were kind of running.
I never had a lap where I didn't have to
you were
pass
still
somebody,
running up.
Because my best lap, I still passed somebody and I drifted the carousel.
You're still running on someone. Yes. I think the sweet spot is probably 30 on an open day. Yeah. Because that was like the SCCA event.
Well, it's and even our private day that we're going to run, I mean, we're going to have 15. Yeah, but we're going to sanction off that even
that should be
fast. We won't see anybody.
No,
it's just.
And that should be fine.
But I don't think we'd have it, again, I think it's the 5-10% of people that, because there's so many times on those open days, you're coming into one and you see people coming out of the pits and you're like, because every single time I've ever had, unless it's you, I've had you come out and you get right, you hug the right, and you have your hand out the window. Yes. So I don't have to mess up my lap. No. But if I don't see Jim coming out of the pits, I can assume they're going to go right into the track line and sit there and not point me, or they'll point me by offline. Right. Which I know they say point, but I think that's BS. I think you get out of the way and give the person the track. In an advanced day, come on. Yes. You give them the right. You should not slow anybody up, which is the chin way, like I think they talk, which is great. But, with you, prime example, I was coming in, you were coming out, you saw me, you got right.
I held up.
And you had the thing, and I just, I could send it. I didn't lose an ounce of time until I got to 3, and there was a guy sitting in front of you. It's like,
the guy that I knew was in front of me.
Exactly.
He screwed anyway.
He screwed anyway. Exactly. And then it's like.
That's funny. That's true.
And for me, it's like, yes, the private days are more expensive, whether we sponsor them or whatever. But when you look at the cost it is to put these tires on, you know, and you're out there trying to find a lap with these Cup 2 Rs.
$2,800 on the Rs.
Coda, they lasted me they were in their prime for like 20 laps, and then they fall off.
Yeah.
Like the same thing with these Rs. I took them off because I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna.
No, because you kept on running into traffic.
Right. So I you throw on the Cup 2s and have some fun.
But I love what you said before. I think when you shift your mindset for us from that first day, where it still was not perfect, to then I'm going to just give people rides. It's fun.
It's fun. Because it turns into it. Because I mean, you know how I drive.
Yes.
It's
you're running 10/10s all the time.
Even with a passenger.
I hate to say it,
exactly.
But yes, we all.
It's fun.
Sometimes we drive our
experience.
fastest when we have, which is why track days don't allow passengers for that exact reason.
Well, and I had it was cool because I brought up the teacher that's in charge of the MHS racing. I gave him
local high school.
High school, they do a race team, and they were always on the go-kart track. Yep. So I was like, come up to and rode around. So I gave him a couple sessions, and it really opened up his eyes to racing, and it's really fun to give somebody that experience. He's into F1 and all that stuff, so it really opened his eyes to. He's like, this might be an expensive day for me, because all of a sudden he's thinking about what car he's going to get.
Right. I mean, there were a couple firsts for both of us. For me, and you can talk about your first, which I think is really impressive, completely impressive. But mine is less impressive, but it was an opportunity for me to bring my oldest son with me. And it was his first time on the track. Yeah. And I think, for him to experience that one, as everybody does, and I will bet all of you out there watching that the first thing you say when you get off a track going with any driver that's pushing the car pretty aggressively is not how fast you're going. You've heard us say this before.
Or cornering.
It's not necessarily the cornering. It's the braking.
And it's like I answered it for him. He's like, how, it's like I feel like I'm David Blaine for a moment, because I know the answer I'm going to say. It's like braking. They look at you like, how'd you know? Like, because I've given a bunch of rides, and everybody thinks the braking, because it makes your eyes going to pop out.
Literally eyes. He was telling me that. He was like, first of all, because his younger brother told him, push the seat up so you can push back on it.
Yes.
Which he probably shouldn't have told him that, because it would have been really
awkward. You're hanging. Yes.
You're hanging on the seatbelt. But he was like, my core was tight when he was driving home, because you're just crunching the whole time.
Yeah.
Because you're really pushing that much force back. And the braking was insane to him. Like he was saying, I thought you were going to brake, and then you broke so much later than I thought you were going to brake. And then it was like the car just went. And I think that was for him. But it was cool to be able to share that experience with him. Of course, again, expensive sport for them to get into, but I would love to share it with my kids. So that was my first. I'll share another story at the end about my experience when I was about to leave, which I think was a stupid one, but a funny one. But your first was impressive in the 3RS.
Oh, my lap?
Yes. I mean, come on. That's big news, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, you're a couple tenths off from the pro driver. Like, come on, share.
Exactly. So I have...
It's unlike you not to share, Chuck. Like, come on, dude. What are you not going to tell people about it? Braden's even laughing. He's like, come on.
We'll put a link down below. You can watch the whole lap.
Should. We got to
I think
put it up on our YouTube channel.
Why I'm not 100% excited about it is because I know, like, the lap is there if I had the clean air.
There's more there too,
because
probably.
Of the drift
right,
and the
but still, we all aspire to what?
Yeah,
I mean, we aspire to the
teens in the Road America. So I did 219.4 with the 3RS, which that's what I want.
500 horsepower car.
Yep. Which right. In just comparison, Matt did a 219 and
which was
also
his first
incredible
time
with 900 horsepower. Which is two different ways. I overlaid it with his video earlier today.
Oh, did you really?
To see the difference, how much you would gain, but then I'd catch back.
Yes.
Maybe we should put that for all the people fighting on our Instagram.
That'd be cool, yeah.
But no, it was definitely fun. I just feel like there's like a sense of me that I know if I had a clean lap, I could have, and my theoretical is a 17.
It may not be your best time ever, but still.
I realize like how like it's more of like the GT3 versus the GT500. Is the best way I can explain it. Like, to get the 19 and the GT3, I feel like it's literally... I feel like I earned it more, maybe, because it's like a 500 horsepower car. You can't mess up. I mean, I drifted the carousel, but the way I drifted and kept on the power, like I maybe lost a second there.
Was that a drift? I'm going to... Like, you'll see it on... We should link that, Braden. Let's make sure we at least...
You can just overlay it. Just show the...
I don't know if that's a... Well, it is obviously because you counter-steered, but... I mean, it wasn't a purposeful drift.
No.
It wasn't like you were saying. Like you kind
I
of.
knew I was going. I mean, I could have like overcorrected and killed the lap, but
Yeah.
I just kept on the throttle because I wanted to keep going.
You definitely were starting. The ass was coming around.
Yes, it was. Yes,
and it was It was kind of sliding. It wasn't pushing. It was just kind of.
And I was probably a foot
out.
from hitting the grass on the outside of the carousel.
Yeah, no, you were, and you were getting into the rubber, right?
Yeah, it was kicking.
But you were dry. So go ahead. Sorry,
I was sending it through there, but yeah, it's definitely
on a stock car with stock tires. We are up there enough to have a lot of friends up there that modify their cars. I mean, look, I just think I was very impressed by it because you have the comparison in cars. I think that's another one. Like there are a lot of people up there with GT3s and GT3 RSs. There are. I mean, there's not a lot of the cars, but there are not many people in a 900R package on a 5.0 to compare on a Mustang to compare.
Yep.
But you can compare against other people and a pro driver that has it.
Yeah.
Which is not. I mean, it's a second, less than a second. Which I think you think the car actually has it because when you do your optimal, it's better than that.
17, yeah. 17.
So I think I know I've said it's a first, but it might be not the last. But it definitely was. I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun
to witness it.
Definitely. Yeah, it was definitely exciting to.
I need to get there.
Yeah, and it's fun because we have the Garmin Catalyst, and we can talk about. We were talking earlier today about like, hey, this is the different things you can do in different spots, and
no, but explain it. I think that's a really cool. Like the Garmin Catalyst just tells you, it gives you so much detail. Yeah. For those of you out there who track your cars, I highly recommend a Garmin Catalyst. We can even get it for you. Just reach out to us. But it's a 4-mile track, a little over 4-mile track. I would say, I don't know, from a distance is less relevant, but the less technical side of the track, with a couple turns, I think you and I are we're talking different cars, but you and I are around the same time. But I lose almost 4 seconds optimal lap to your lap. I lose almost 4 seconds in the back half of the track, which are some of those areas where I just need to have more courage to push the car.
Yeah, and it's like
skill.
It's just being I think it's just being comfortable at the limit of the car and understand having those moments. And again, it's
4 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but it feels like it on the track.
Yes,
and it actually is.
And I think but going out there and doing the 219 in the GT3 RS, you can't mess up any corner to a long straight at Road America. You can't mess up and get those times.
Not in that car. It doesn't have the horsepower to make up for it.
Because if you look at the deltas and stuff like that, the carousel, I maybe lost it. But if you do that, any of those turns wrong, you're right. That's not going to get that
right.
So I feel like getting into the teens the first time with the GT500, I was ecstatic for the number. But as I did a 17 and then I quickly did a 16, and I think that car, just
who knows?
I felt like the rewarding, because I could compare it to a pro driver, understanding how close I am to the pro driver. I think that really opened my eyes a little bit more to okay, this is fun, and maybe.
Well, it goes back to I think one of your most impressive. The 216 is in a very impressive lap, but the 223. In the base, I think is kind of the comparison in my mind to what you did in the GT3.
Yeah.
Because there's a comparison out there that's pretty clear, and it just shows the skill.
And so the only other comparison I have to a GT500 is that so when NASCAR went to Road America, I understand these guys that running NASCAR hadn't run Road America.
Yes.
They sent out 3 track packs.
Yes.
And their best times, from what I heard through the grapevine, was a 228.
Yeah.
So understanding
that's insane. The
5
difference.
seconds to a pro. I mean, usually it's just and they wracked 2 of the 3. But
I think it was wet though. It might have been wet.
It was definitely dry at start though, because they had their opportunity.
I think when they wrecked
them, it was wet. Yeah, because they had that whole morning, and then it rained, and then they wrecked 2 of them. And then they're like,
it'd be nice to be like, hey, I'm a Ford driver. I just get cars handed to me.
But then again, those are the people that I'm comparing myself against. Are the guys that we don't care if you wreck the car, whatever. I just want the fastest lap time.
Right.
This is my car at the end of the day. I want to take it home.
Absolutely.
I want to enjoy it. And by the way, I did drive it home because I did 64 laps the whole weekend. I drove my RS home because I didn't feel like driving the trailer, and Mike had to drive a trailer home. So we had people up there, and I made a way to drive that home. But it was definitely fun out there.
It's an expensive week though.
Yes.
Right? Because 4 days of tracking any car, even 1 day of tracking any car. You're going through tires, you're going through brakes, you're going through a lot of the wearable items on the car. Even my my GT3 RS, I put brakes on it. Yeah, I mean, I came back and on Friday I didn't go up. I stayed here because I had to put brakes on it. I thought I was going to get a little further than I did, but I had the brake warnings coming up on my dash, and I just didn't want to risk the ceramics. But
speaking of ceramics, I think we should do a whole podcast on the ceramic brakes, because I think there's a misconception with the carbon ceramic brakes.
Yeah, everybody.
Because everybody I was going up there when we were talking, the guys that try put the AP brakes on, don't mess with the carbons, all that stuff. I think we stay tuned, because I want to have a whole podcast talking about brakes, and I think we'll talk about.
Let's do that,
because it's unbelievable what Jim and I have done with the carbon ceramic brakes, and how. And we weighed them, and we did that. Should talk.
And at least on mine, or zero change to the weight from them being original. Yeah. And we run the car. Like you can argue.
The moral of the story is, I think the carbons are the way to go if you're doing what we're doing. Yeah. But I think we break that whole thing down, and we'll have.
Let's do it.
And do the rotors, but I want to do the cost stuff. Yeah.
My pads, 2,700 miles. Now it's 2,700 miles, but it's probably
90% track miles.
A lot of track miles in there. I haven't taken it on a trip, so it's all mostly track miles. So I burned through a set of pads.
Does that decrease what you'd sell it to a buddy for?
No, because you know how well I keep it. I change the oil every time. For those out there, I change the oil every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we can always put it up for bidding.
No, I'll still buy it.
But that was one thing. But very simple to do. The brake pads on a new 992. I'm sure it's a 992. That was good. I want to tell the one story. And even those of us who go to the track as often as we do foolish things. And I did a completely foolish thing. We should have teased this at the beginning. Said it'll click when I start talking about it. He'll remember it quickly. He knows what I'm going to talk about. So you go through a day of track, and you get to a point. I know you do. I can't speak for you, but you're done, and you want to go home. Mm-hmm. Like you're ready to go. Oh, yeah. And the tearing down, I'm I'm so impatient about tearing things down.
Okay, now I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going?
We did that in 27
No,
minutes.
I mean, we tore down the whole camp.
Loaded 3 cars, put everything in.
Well, kind of loaded 3 cars.
The motorsports, the trailer was fine.
The motorsports side, but me, who's done this 100 times. So I'm going to blame Chuck. I'm blaming you already, because I did my brakes on Friday, so I took the incredible gun, the pneumatic freaking torque machine, magic machine that we use on the center locks.
Yep.
Had to do that because it wouldn't do it without it. We did the brakes, so I took it home and I put it in the bed of my truck. So when I had it in the bed and I took it out, I had to move the trailer off the back of the truck to get my deck, with the tailgate down. So I did that. Didn't realize I didn't put the trailer back on the trailer hitch. And when I pulled in behind my trailer, I just pulled it up onto the trailer, not realizing it wasn't hooked to the truck. So I have my 2RS on the trailer.
Yeah, good thing Noah was there.
Well, good thing Noah was there. But I said to Noah, not that Noah was savior here, but I said, Noah, hey, raise the trailer. So it's a lowering trailer. So once I got the rear off the bottom of the ground, it started rolling. We were on a hill with my car on it. The trailer starts rolling down the hill. And fortunately, I never unhooked the chains.
The chains cooked.
So the chains caught. The whole truck just slid back, and the trailer caught. It stopped. Dude, I was on. Braden was standing right there. I was putting my car. I was going to jump the fucking RS off the trailer because it was
into the grass.
It was going. For those of you where we were parked, it was a 100-yard, 200-yard, 300-yard downhill roll.
Actually, funny story there is that there was one guy that came off track and he didn't want to put his parking brake on with his Lamborghini, and he tried to chalk it. The Lamborghini went down the hill into those woods and totaled the car at a HPD.
Yes.
Yeah, it went down the hill.
Boom. I can't even make fun of that guy. No. I was that guy. I was him.
But this is after him. Yeah, and see, for me, I had my track day. I brought my kids up. Most people think that, hey, why you bring, I have 4 kids, it's stress. But I got a nice, shower, sleep.
Yes.
I didn't have to drive up in the morning. Jim had to drive home, do his breaks, come back.
Yes, I
So
did.
that's
But
3
still,
days of
no excuse for not having your. For those of you out there, TSA. Is it TSA?
PSA.
PSA. PSA.
PSA is
Public
service.
service.
The friskers.
Yeah.
You almost got fisted by TSA. PSA.
By my car. PSA, whatever the fuck it is. No, don't unhook your trailer ever from your car because you will forget to rehook it up. Noah was going to jump in front of it.
He was.
But yeah, I think that's a story we might want to end on.
Yeah.
But
Stay tuned for. I think we do a full break talk next time.
I think that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's something that I think a lot of people wonder about the carbon ceramics. I think everybody's just scared away from it. I don't think there's people that are doing. Maybe I don't know if there's anybody else out there that are hammering these carbons like we are.
Yeah, I think the myth is that you can burn through them, and my philosophy is I'm not driving my car to save my car for the next guy.
No. And honestly,
I don't think you're burning through the.
I don't think
I
we're
know.
getting into the next one, but
we
weight
don't have to
savings,
tease with
the
that.
weight savings that you're giving up. But yeah, we'll talk all things brakes next time.
Yes,
So,
I think it's a great idea.
so speaking of brakes, we'll put the brakes on this.
Ooh,
this
wow, that was pretty good.
We'll thank our sponsors, Middleton
Ford and Wheel Pros.
Actually, Dundon kind of helped us out with something. So
yes, they helped us out.
saved
They're always
us
great.
some.
Fab Speed.
Yep.
We are true ambassadors of Fab Speed. So thanks everybody for watching. And thanks to Dots and those sponsors out there, Celsius and all
Our
those
future
guys.
sponsors.
Future sponsors. MM Outlaw. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Take care.
We got
Thanks.
to talk. That's another one too. MM Outlaw. We got to talk.
Yeah, that's a good one.
See you.
Bye.